This 67 Camaro needs an all-new drivetrain. The daughter inherited the car from her father, who used it at the racetrack, and now she's ready to take it to car shows. The girls will help by dropping in a 572 crate engine with a new transmission and get this project headed in the right direction.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to All Girls Garage, where today we have a special treat in store for you. This lovely hunk of junk.
Oh, okay. Well, it has potential. And actually, you know what? The owner would not be offended probably at all by calling that, because the previous owner, I suppose I should say, of this vehicle was known as the Junkyard Racer. As you can tell, this car is definitely set up to be a race car.
So I'm not just slinging in. It's like, legitimately.
No, absolutely. But unfortunately, he did pass away, and his daughter inherited this cool project. We are sitting right now in a 1967 Camaro. His daughter is, a little bit of a car enthusiast herself. She's not a racer, though, so she's hoping to build this car in the spirit of him sort of keeping the body looking the same, but wants to be able to take it to car shows and stuff like that. So,
we obviously need an engine, maybe for starters, and then probably some front suspension, maybe some front tires and wheels and, all the rest of the things that make this thing actually drive. But all that we're handling today is engine and front suspension.
Oh, and transmission. She did bring us a transmission.
Transmissions are important.
Yep. Well, we weren't sure if she was going to get it, so.
And she's got this big, beautiful new crate engine, which will make our lives a little bit easier. I'm just going to point to it, though, because getting out of here is going to be a little bit more challenging.
I got it! All right, so, check this out. We have this absolute beautiful big block Chevy crate engine. What you can't see, obviously, because it's inside, this thing is completely built. We've got forged everything. I'm a little jealous. Forged crank, forged rods, forged pistons.
So she wanted over 700 horsepower. And of course, we all know there's no replacement for displacement. So in order to get above 700 horsepower, we needed big block instead of small block. She wanted to go carbureted for the whole nostalgia sake. And she wanted to be able to use just pump gas. She didn't want to go into any fancy race gas or high-end gas.
So first things first, we got to get this thing out of the crate, as it were, because we've got some front accessories to install. We've also got that transmission. Probably easy to bolt them together and install them as a unit.
I think so.
And
along the lines of making our lives easier, let me go ahead and suggest that we take all of the whole front end room for activities.
No, good idea. I did notice that fender was like, I think there was one bolt in it, so, okay.
All right, cool. Engine hoist, I'll grab tools, you grab hoist.
Yep, sounds good.
All right.
That works. Where should we go with it?
All right, we got the front clip off, and now we are going to get the engine up on an engine stand so we can assemble all of the things. And of course, it comes fully dressed, but we're going to undress it because this is a really big block, and it's a really big transmission that we're going to be mating to it. It's a little heavy, and we don't want to risk damaging all of the lovelies, so we're going to take some stuff off. Do you have a wrench for me?
I'm sorry.
Well, thank you.
Really bruised hands.
Oh, no.
I dropped the trunk on myself. Honestly, after you left, it was very lonely as my last day.
Ta-da!
Yes, with it. Love it. Okay, so I alluded to the fact that we'd be putting on some front pulleys and such. Did you expect they were going to be this beautiful?
So much shiny.
Neither did I. She, once again, picked all the stuff out herself. So we got a lot to talk about here, and you've probably got some questions. So actually, so do we.
Yes.
Because as you can probably imagine, this car did not come with AC from the factory, or at least it did not have AC the way that it was.
No. Or power steering.
So
this much chrome.
Yeah. So
it's going to look a little funny.
It's more than just a dress-up kit. There's, a lot of accessories. So this is not going to be just install, turnkey, and go. There's a lot more work to have after this.
I can hear you at home now saying, great, another episode where they don't finish the project. Well, let's just be clear. This is like a month's worth of work.
Oh, yeah.
With all of the retrofitting with AC and power steering and all of the rest of the things. Yeah, no, this car ain't getting done today.
No, absolutely not. So let's get moving forward on this. So actually, what do we have here? We've obviously got a water pump. Need that. Pretty basic.
Yep.
And then it's got this crazy, bracket.
Enormous bracket.
Oh, this is hefty
It's stout,
and
isn't it?
almost just blinded me with the lights in my face there. This is going to be a fun episode of watch Faye and Bogi struggle on this one project for the entire
But it's going to look really pretty while we're doing it.
All right, well, let's try.
The work begins after the break as Bogi and Faye start installing the serpentine setup on this new big block and run into some problems.
Oh, dude, no.
There's no way.
Nope.
They'll also show you the new transmission and trust that it will hold up to the engine power.
So I guess you're just going to have to blindly trust us. Are we trustworthy?
I think so.
I think so.
Do you have a vintage vehicle or classic muscle car that you regularly take out on the open road? If you want to maintain its classic look while enjoying all of the benefits of modern tire, tread, and compound technology, then the Hercules... Take the timeless look of a smooth sidewall with raised lettering, combine it with performance-enhanced tread design with a solid, wide center rib, and you get true all-season performance tire that will keep your ride gripping the road in any condition and in style. Hercules Tire HP 4000. Classic good looks with modern performance. And a little dab. Let's see. This guy. Let me feed my hand through here.
Yep, exactly. Let me come across. Yep. We're golden. Very cool, very cool. All right. Pretty exciting. Don't be jealous. All right, now that Bogi and I struggled to get our bracket on, and Bogi installed this beautiful water pump pulley, I'm going to install the crank pulley onto the harmonic balancer right here. So I've got this massive spacer that will give us the clearance so that we'll have alignments of all of our pulleys and our belt will ride smoothly. Gosh, all right. Once again, it's another one of these situations where it's like bolt and bolt. Blah. And I need more hands than I actually have.
My little tensioner,
Right.
idler's in already, so pretty much once we swap out the pulley on that alternator, we should be able to get the belt on.
Right.
And then actually tighten all of these down.
And yes, as you can see, there is still the V.
That's not going to work.
No. So we're going to have to swap this out. However, the great thing about this bracket is it also doubles as a holder. So I'm just going to hold this thing in place while I remove it and swap the pulley over.
It's a whole lot easier to do it that way.
Yeah, it is absolutely. This is planned, people.
All right. Let's see if this
Here it
works.
goes.
Here goes nothing.
All right, I'm going to need to release some tension on the tensioner, Bogi.
Release.
Yeah, well, give me more. I need more
Oh,
slack.
there's nothing. I've got no more.
Are you kidding me?
That's all we've got.
Oh, dude, no.
There's no way.
Nope.
There is no way.
Ooh, and I don't want to damage it.
Yeah, no. So, we have a problem.
This is extremely tight.
It's not fitting. It's way, way, way too tight. We tried slipping it over the idler pulley because that's the only one without a lip, so you can kind of sometimes tuck the belt over that, and it's kind of easier that way.
Right.
Didn't work in this case.
And the instructions, they actually say to remove this pulley, or install it for the first time, in our case, and install it onto the belt, and then slide it above its throw.
No, and even if we could get it on, I mean, as you could see, it would have been, like, painfully tight. There'd be no give to it whatsoever. There's supposed to be a little bit of bounce.
Yeah.
The tensioner is just supposed to hold some tension on it, but not hold it so tight. There's no movement
You're going to be
whatsoever.
putting way too much force on these. It's going to cause premature wear on these bearings, damage this, lovely new alternator.
And it would probably be really noisy, too.
Yeah, so,
So-
let's take this off, take a measurement. But you know what, actually, though? I did notice that our transmission is here now.
Let's switch gears. No pun intended.
Yeah, that was unplanned.
I actually did not mean to make that funny, but it just kind of happened.
I love planned words jokes. Okay, and let's just call our buddies at the parts store and see if we can find a belt that's a little bit bigger, and we'll mess with this later.
For me.
Okay, cool. All right, well, I'll grab some tools.
All right, so engine project is on hold, but we have this beautiful new 4L80E transmission that is going to be installed, but it is not just any 4L80E transmission.
Right.
It is heavily modified.
I was about to say, we must specify Bogi because
Yes.
the good folks at home are going to be like, no way will that hold up to 745 horsepower.
And you're
This
right.
one however, will. This is kind of like our engine has a bunch of upgraded internals that you can't see. So I guess you're just going to have to blindly trust us. Are we trustworthy?
I think so.
I think so.
I mean, it's pretty, so it's got to be
It is.
good,
I mean,
right?
one thing that you can see is that we have a much larger pan.
Yes.
So it holds, 10, 12 cords, I think,
Yeah,
in the pan?
and that by itself is a huge improvement, right?
Absolutely.
The more oil, the more cooling, the more it can withstand higher horsepower, all of that good stuff. And, you know, just G-forces, oil sloshing, you want to have as much oil in there as you can.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Please allow us to validate for all y'all at home that sometimes it is not as easy as it looks, because the big stuff is fun, like researching the stuff, picking it out, but like it's the little stuff that'll get
And not
you.
just sometimes, always.
Yeah.
It is always the little things. It is not the fun stuff, the ooh, pretty. It's that one little clip that you can't find anywhere.
Right.
And I have a feeling we're going to have a lot of those on this project.
Right, because there's nothing in there. So that being said, I'm gonna find some bolts. Do you want to find some fluid for this thing?
I can do that.
Okay.
All right. Now we got this.
Yep.
All right. Come on. Find your little spot. There we go.
Gonna find it nice and
There
easy.
we go. Got it.
Man, we need that second click, don't we?
There you
There we
go. Nice.
Okay, cool.
Okay, I think I'm good on this
more?
side. I think we're good on that side.
Okay, all right.
Don't fall out of the hole.
No, I got a couple bolts in. We're good. We're totally good. Nice. Oh, okay.
There.
Yeah, I'm tight over here.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to take care of the torque converter bolts.
Okay, this thing in the car. And make a list of all the other things.
I feel like that's going to be a really long list, and
Yeah.
that might take us a little while, so maybe you guys should take a break. We'll work on that list, and we'll
Sounds
see you when
good.
we get back.
Good. Okay, and we're at Firewall. You're absolutely going the right direction.
How are we looking?
Pretty good. That's it before we hit. Cool, let's go back now.
All right, I think. Hold it right there.
Okay, trying.
All right, one's in.
Okay,
All
excellent.
right, sweet. Welcome back, guys. We have made our list. We checked it twice, and we're sure we've forgotten at least a dozen things.
Probably more.
But the engine is in, the transmission is in.
Yeah.
There's no transmission mount, though. So at the moment, we're kind of hanging out on a jack. So we're going to have to fix that so we can get the car up in the air so that we can move on to...
Well, first of all,
doing some other
measuring
things.
for a transmission mount as well. It's
Well,
really
yes, there's
get
that.
a custom one. And this is actually a little bit of a surprise because, like, this is a new floor, so we weren't really sure, like,
Yeah.
did they install the floor correctly? Is it actually going to fit with the 4 LED?
But it does.
It does. I know. So it's just like, okay, let's just count our blessings today.
So I'm going to lay this down because I
Okay.
feel like I'm mildly threatening with it. And then
Yeah,
will
why don't you hand it to me? I'll pass it to you underneath
Will
there.
you actually, I just need you to lay down and grab the other end of the tape measure. Leave that. We're going to cut it.
Killer.
I just need you to grab the other end of the tape measure, hold it up to the seam, and I will measure this.
Right here. Before the upstairs.
Yep.
Okay. We have a ton of clearance going on in here. This is a massive transmission, so look at that.
So the concern, for those of the folks at home who don't know this,
yes,
is
sorry.
that these are not the original floors for this vehicle. The dead giveaway is that it is the only thing on the car that isn't rusty, other than the engine and transmission that we just put in. But our big concern with this is that the transmission tunnel, we weren't positive if it was going to be able to accommodate this large transmission. So we are very grateful to see that it does.
We are counting our blessings today. That is so true.
Yes.
And this piece is kind of nice. I mean, we
It's
just
kind of perfect.
powder coat it and keep it in there and call that our transmission.
I don't know
I'm
that
just kidding. No.
I don't know how to go that far, yeah.
But nice work. All right, so we're going to measure and actually get a real transmission
Yes.
mount for this. But that is sort of the end of what we're doing transmission-wise right now because she also dropped off a ton of suspension components.
Pretty much all of it. There's zero suspension on the front end, so like literally every piece.
Yeah. Well, I'll stop giving it the side eye then,
Right.
and why don't I start taking apart those
Pause with our engine and transmission install. We have some other things to turn our attention to, and that is some pretty significant upgrades. Well, I guess anything is an upgrade to nothing.
Nothing, yeah.
But upgrade over stock
Yeah.
as well to our suspension.
Oh yeah, so she is going to want to drive this thing, and now it's got a ton of power. It's going to have to actually stop. So we're doing a drum to disc brake conversion, and also we're changing out our factory just ball bearings to these lovely tapered roller bearings.
Yeah.
Nice little hubs. So
very nice aluminum hubs.
Yeah,
those are
definitely
snazzy. And then, of course, we've got some adjustable shocks. So that's really nice. It's going to be pretty straightforward. We can assemble some of this stuff while we're at the tabletop. Then we'll get our control arms and get everything installed on the vehicle. But we've got to get the bearings onto the spindles. That's first step. So pack bearings and then figure out if we need to press these or freeze them or what we need to do.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out.
All right. Let's get to packing bearings, shall we?
It's
so much more fun.
I'm going to design a...
Now we're getting innocence everywhere. Get it on all the threads.
Did I get that? Did I get that good enough?
Yes, you did.
Okay, great. It's just a weird little habit thing. Goes in there. Beautiful. That is beautiful.
Faye is happy with the work she did putting the hub and spindle together. Next, the girls show you the proper fluids to use in the new crate engine and finish up the suspension.
Hey guys, welcome back to All Girls Garage. If you are just joining us, we are working on our 67 Camaro. This was owned by a guy who was called the Junkyard Racer. So the car's in rough shape, but when he left it to his daughter, she wanted to beautify it, up the horsepower while keeping the classic look that her dad had built this car into. So little of an interesting situation we've got here, but we've got some good progress going on in this project.
Absolutely. We did end up finding a slightly larger drive belt. As you can see, ta-da, we got that installed. We did follow the instructions actually and take this pulley off to install everything. And you can see that we have all of our little beautified pieces, all of our little caps to sort of make it look all blingy and very nice. I know it's a total contrast of like engine to car, but you know what? We build other people's dreams and we build our own cars in our own time. So, but this, as you can probably tell, will be sitting for quite some time. We don't want the engine just sitting.
So we generally like using Amsoil, particularly for projects like this, for a number of reasons. But there's a couple of different products that we want to recommend to her. We've got a regular synthetic oil that we're going to recommend for once the engine's broken in. And then we're pretty sure at some point when she gets a feel of that 745 horsepower, she's going to want to use the Performance Race Oil. But
she's going to want to race.
But for starters, we're strongly recommending this Amsoil break-in oil. Now, the manufacturer of this engine recommends break-in oil for the first 6,000 miles. Every manufacturer is a little bit different, but it is important to keep in mind that this Amsoil break-in oil is only good for 1,000 miles. So if you are going that full 6,000-mile break-in, you want to put this in, run it, drain it out, put some new stuff in, because it's not going to last you the whole 6,000 miles.
Oh, absolutely. And it's sort of like a misnomer in some ways. Like you think, okay, we're breaking the engine in, we're going to use the best sort of oil. And a lot of people don't really know what that is. A lot of people think, well, synthetic oil is the best oil on the market, but you actually don't want a synthetic oil for break-in. You want some wear of those piston rings on the cylinder. You're going to want like a controlled amount of wear happening during that time. So break-in oil is super important. Also has some added phosphorus and zinc and stuff like that the engine really needs at the very beginning for that.
So it's actually conventional oil with less of the friction modifiers, that
Right.
traditional oil that you would generally want your engine to have. And that is for that ring seating. It's to make sure that everything's wearing the way it's supposed to and you're not having metal-to-metal contact in a negative way, but in a positive way. So everything in this Amsoil engine break-in oil is going to do what we need it to do. And for the time being, it's also going to help keep the engine just safe while it sits here for who knows how long.
It's going to need a lot more.
You know how project cars go.
Ouch! I'm taking that personally, Bogi.
Oh, I'm right there with you, Ma. Right there with you.
Well, let's get to it.
All right.
This is just a pull-off. There's no
look at that.
Involved.
All right.
Go for it. All right, so Bogi and I are continuing the mock-up on our front suspension. For those of you that have had project cars, you know how much easier it is when they're on a rolling shell. And you saw that awkward little dolly we were trying to push this thing around on earlier. So we've got our new tubular lower control arms. Our nice coilovers are installed, mocked up, and we got our springs, and our upper control arms
Of course.
as well, and the hubs we were showing you
Gotta have
earlier.
that.
So yeah, we've got just everything going on.
We're getting close to
Yeah.
having a full mock-up.
Yes. So hopefully we'll have a pretty decent idea of everything else that she's going to need, at least for the part that we're doing.
Yes, absolutely.
For our list.
Yeah. So obviously none of this is final install, like far from final install, but its purpose is repairs might be necessary in order to get her to the goal that she's looking to get to. We've gotten a ton done in our mock-up of this project vehicle, and I know some are probably looking at this and saying, why spend all this money on this beautiful engine, this beautiful new suspension with a body and a frame that looks like this? At the end of the day, I want to go back to, like, there's no price on emotional connection to a vehicle, right?
God, no.
This isn't about the way it looks, it's about the sentimental value, and I think we all have that experience. We all have those vehicles in our lives. There isn't always reason or logic as to why we're so committed to a vehicle. It's just pure emotion and our connection to that vehicle.
Definitely. And this one has a pretty cool story. And I know that you and I are both, are we not her in our own
God.
way? Have we not spent way too much time and money on cars that are worth nothing to anyone else except for us? And I know y'all at home can relate to this as well. So I hope this was a little bit inspirational for you to get out there, do some mock-up, start dreaming, and, just sort of visualize where that project is going. I'm sure this is going to be really helpful for her to continue this project. So no matter what project it is, we hope that you keep working on it, y'all. And with that, we'll see you next time.